then maybe today for FireStride Chat, I can share my updates first with everyone, and then we can move into like kind of a recap of discussion topics that are more on the general scale. But yeah, just because these ones I want to make sure everybody has all the information. I'm going to drop some links in the chat. So we can go ahead and get started with community updates. As you guys might have seen on Twitter or on Discord, we have the Stride Analytics dashboard contest that's happening right now. So you can go make a dashboard if you are any kind of data visualizer. Is that the visualization expert? If you're like a data visualization expert or this is just interesting to you in any way, this would definitely be a great contest for you to enter. We've got 3 really good prizes for first, second, and third place, up to 200 USDC. And I'm going to drop the info and submission form here in the lounge channel. So feel free to give that a look. The deadline to create a dashboard by would be November 6th, and the submission link is inside this form. So go for it, guys. And the second thing that I wanted to share with you is to just keep your eyes peeled in the next week for information about a community collaboration with Interprotocol. So as you guys may know, we've recently integrated with IST, so you can now use ST-Atom to mint your IST on Agoric, and checking out this tutorial that the Stride Support Lab just put out will really help you with some of the content that is going to be part of next week's or the next 2 weeks of this collaboration's content. So get familiar with what this integration means, and you'll be really successful and in a good place to possibly win a prize with that collaboration. But there will be NFTs for everybody who participates and token drops to the winners. So yeah, if you have more questions, you can ask me or just look out for the information that will be shared throughout the next week. But yeah, I can go ahead and pass the mic to you, Vishal. Thanks for letting me. I just wanted to get those updates out. But yeah, would love to hear kind of your perspective of where things are at right now in the Stride world. I think we've had a lot of like fun stuff happening with ST-Atom lately, and I know as a team we've been talking about some other tokens that we are excited to start focusing on too. So I'll let you take it from here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Summer. That was a super helpful introduction, and I appreciate teeing it up. Okay, a few exciting things this week. I think it's been a pretty good week. So we'll start off with maybe some ST-Atom updates. I don't know if you all have been using it, but ST-Atom is now live on Levana. You can trade ST-Atom on perps on Levana. So you can to describe it, you can put in ST-Atom as collateral, and then you could trade on leverage long or short on ST-Atom. And the thing that makes it, I think, exciting over being able to do the same thing with Atom is when you deposit it as collateral, you earn a significant amount of yield on that token, and so you don't have to give up the Atom staking yield. I believe the Levana yield for Atom, they have they have something called LP and something called XLP, and the XLP you lock up for longer, but I think the yield was 100% for a period of time. I haven't checked today what it is, but if someone else has it, I'm curious what it is. That has honestly been an incredibly exciting integration, and it's 45 days. That's good to know. Well, maybe just spend a little time on that. It's one that I've been honestly really excited about, and for a couple of reasons. So first, there is, as far as I know, I think this is the first time you could do a perp on LST, and it provides really exciting, I think, a really exciting product for people. LSTs and perps, I think, are two of the highest PMF products in all of crypto, and it's cool to see them kind of interact together. To Moons' point in the chat, this is all real yield. So it's not inflationary. It's people just love trading perp, and they're a really exciting product. And it's cool that you can now stack that on top of an LST. And what is honestly a pretty, at least for DeFi standards, something that's relatively tame. You can earn really exciting yield, and you can also it's a really good product too. They've just done a good job making the perp in a good way that's really really fun, easy to use. Another reason I think I'm pretty excited about it is, well, we just started with ST-Atom. or sorry, ST Atom perps on Levana, and we saw really good usage. I think it has over $1 million in trading volume per day. I also haven't checked today, but it's been pretty high, and the amount of deposit in LP is also pretty high. I think it's one of their top assets right now. But we've been talking to them about doing other assets too, like STINJ, ST Osmo, and depositing all of those. And so it's pretty exciting that this could end up being like the default way people trade perps on Levana or just in Cosmos in general. And then an additional side thing, I know there's some other big perp markets coming to Cosmos, so it's exciting to start exploring the future now for LSTs backing perps. Another reason I'm pretty excited about it, though, is while this is a really good duration, like ST Atom trade ST Atom, we've also been talking and exploring other things you can do. For example, cross collateral. So one thing we've been thinking about is could you do deposit ST Atom and then trade Atom? I think that opens up a pretty exciting realm of possibilities. Very early on this, so we're still trying to figure out what this might look like. But just the design space once you start doing perps is really large, and so it's something that we're honestly really excited about. And then I saw Levana is now much more tightly integrated into the Osmosis UI. So just honestly, really exciting thing to see in general. I don't know if you guys have seen the new Osmo UI, but they have like the different things on the left hand side. I saw a tweet on it earlier today, although I haven't actually seen it in my live page. So
I was actually talking to Jonathan the other day from Levana, like in a meeting, and he was walking me through the new Osmo interface, which is super cool just to kind of see how like he was like so much of the traction that we're able to get like from like to our page that comes directly from these integrations on the front end, which I thought was honestly like I'm sure people like think about this all the time, like just how useful these buttons can be, but just how actually easy it is to lead your users to these integrations and make it really seamless for them and digestible for them if it's like kind of right there in front of them. And also just kind of shows that interdependency between like Levana and other projects like Osmosis.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. One more. Oh yeah, Moon's had a really great picture of what it looks like in the chat. Oh, it's honestly it's really cool to have margin there too. Yeah. So, anyways, Levana, super excited about it. ST Atom, we'll see. ST Osmo, STINJ, more things we were hoping to launch pretty soon. Drop any feedback if you guys have thoughts on perps in general. I honestly had not really used perps until like maybe like earlier this year. I always create things on spot, and honestly, perps they're good. It's a good product. I feel like they're way more exciting, easier to get in and out of positions. There's often fewer trading costs too. So just in general, I like it. Yes, right. It is mainly for G-gens. Maybe I'm becoming too much of a G-gen recently, but it's a fun product, and the trading fees are so low. Yeah. One last thing on this is there is an Atom airdrop on Pith that the Pith is doing, and if you trade ST Atom or Atom on Levana, because they use Pith as an oracle, you might be eligible for the airdrop. So definitely check it out. It's super exciting. And maybe one aside I'll drop here. When we first were working on Stride, we had a lot of questions on if people were eligible for airdrops, and we're always willing to work with people who are trying to airdrop to Atom stakers, to airdrop to SD Atom holders. But one theory that we had was as DeFi evolves in Cosmos, more and more airdrops will evolve away from stakers to focus on like DeFi users. Because I think that's ultimately people that projects want to airdrop to. And I think we're starting to see that more recently. And so it's good vindication of it. And so I'm looking forward to a future where maybe SD Atom holders get more airdrops than Atom holders. But TBD. Related note on that, if you all have been involved with the Slush ecosystem at all, the airdrop just happened earlier this week. Super exciting airdrop, one of the largest I think we have seen in a long time in crypto. So hats off to everyone about the airdrop.
Sorry, which ecosystem did you say?
Celestia had their airdrop earlier this week. I don't know if people. Yeah, yeah. It was they geo blocked very heavily, so it was a little bit hard to make sure you qualified, but a really large airdrop. I know it was a huge airdrop, especially for the current market conditions. So hats off to Slushy. They did a really great job, really great team. Really, we've enjoyed working with them. 1,000 is crazy. That is wild. I think they tripled their airdrop too, because only 1/3 claimed. So the other 2/3 people they recycle it. 8K is insane.
Oh, that's so crazy. Sometimes it's like I know that these things Like for me, when I think of airdrop, like it's so varied of what it can possibly give to, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like 10 cents, sometimes it's like $8,000, but it's so wild to hear people with really happy wallets right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I heard if you're a node operator on the Celestia testnet, they airdropped like 10K TIA to you. So pretty wild. So those node operators uh, must be very happy right now. I know. Okay, so moving on. So, oh, from Relay, that's interesting. Oh, I have a Relayer also. I really should check if I airdropped. Okay, two more things I want to talk about. So we've done a lot of work on ST Atom, but I think there's a lot more, a lot of really exciting opportunities with other SE tokens. It's one thing we're starting to focus on right now. So two, just to highlight that are going to become bigger focuses for us. We're going to work much more closely with the team and try to get integrations across many more DeFi protocols. Are ST Osmo and ST Inge. Both of them have been really exciting. We've seen a ton of trading volume in both these tokens. And so we're trying to see if there's better ways we can use their ST versions. So obvious example to start off is like trading these on Levana. So ST Osmo, ST Inge will be on Levana pretty soon. That end will be really exciting. Hopefully it opens up a whole realm of kind of opportunity for people. Other things we're trying to do, the ST Osmo, we had a big POL prop the prop pass. I believe those tokens got staked today. Took a long time to get the multi-sig up and running. But now they'll be deposited into the Osmo, the liquidity on Osmosis pretty soon. And then, we're looking to see if there are other places we can use ST Osmo, like Mars is a good example, or see if we can raise the cap on Umi, and then see if, maybe like add to Silk, for example, potentially. There's a lot of really exciting opportunities. And yeah, shout out to Sneed for getting STI and J on Umi. Absolutely huge. There's a lot of places I think we can start integrating STI and J because it does not have very high coverage right now, but really exciting. I know. I saw the prop list stride too. So props to you, Sneed. Thank you for doing that. Super, super exciting to see all this governance work you're doing. Honestly, hats off to you. Yeah, so people have any other ideas for things on SC Osmo and SC J? It's something we're pretty excited about. There's a lot of interest in the community on both those. So we're going to start by increasing the caps lending markets and adding them to Levana. But please let us know if you have other ideas. And then we're been exploring some other kind of unique LST possible integrations with Perp markets, and we'll give more details on those soon. But the exciting kind of realm opportunity. One last quick update before we kind of open it up is on DYDX. So Stride officially has an IBC connection to DYDX. We are channel 1. Noble is channel 0. Unfortunately, it was very hard for us to get channel 0 because we didn't do the DYDX testnet, so we had no DYDX to pay to open that first channel. So we had to wait for Noble, unfortunately. But we got channel 1. And so maybe just talking a little bit about DYDX and kind of where we see the future there. I am personally an extremely happy user of DYDX and very bullish on the future of them. I'm really happy with their whole team. I've been following them since like 2017. The product has really evolved quite a bit. They've done an amazing job of becoming the true like any liquidity hub on chain, more so than almost any other DeFi protocol. And I really have a lot of admiration for what they've done on truly pushing to become decentralized and moving to an app chain. And it's also a huge boon for all of Cosmos that they are building such a complicated chain and bringing so much attention into the space and liquidity. So I am personally really excited about STDYDX and something that we hope will get enabled pretty soon. We're almost done with the code in the Stride end. Maybe a little technical details on this. On DYDX has a lot of real yield, but no actual inflation. So on the Stride end, we have to be able to convert the USDC yields that DYDX will pay to DYDX. So we'd be able to automatically swap DYDX automatically swap USDC to DYDX. We've been working on this and swapping through Osmosis. It is almost ready. So we're kind of in the final phases of testing and auditing that. And so we will be able to hopefully do that pretty soon. Then we've also been working on just kind of like doing DYDX is like a pretty complicated chain, and there's a lot of like weird things they have. So we're just doing a lot of testing pipelines to make sure that everything's gonna be okay. We're in the final phase of that, so we haven't fully wrapped it up, but we're pretty optimistic that we'll be able to have stdydx fairly soon. That being said, there are a lot of really exciting opportunities to make with DYDX. So we get all the standard ones we already have, like all the Cosmos DeFi, lending markets, AMMs, etc., stablecoins. But I think there's some really exciting opportunities with DYDX. Just to kind of briefly highlight, they generate a lot of revenue. So I think right now it's something like $50-60 million a year in revenue, based on like trading volume. The last year I think it was like 190 or 135 million, and just has very high real yield. And I think it will be the STDYDX could become the largest real yield backed LST in all of crypto. And I think as a result, it makes honestly a really exciting token to use for any sort of collateral option. Like it's backed with real consumer demand and real like revenue that's flowing to it. So I can imagine a lot of opportunities to use it all throughout crypto, and the yield could end up being. So one thing we're excited about is not only Cosmos, but DYDX also has just a real community in Ethereum, and we're curious if there are ways we can help stdydx be more marketed even within the Ethereum ecosystem. So we're trying to see if, like, for example, Uniswap, if people might be interested in using stdydx there, or on Aave, or any other kind of deep markets that DYDX is already kind of present on Ethereum. And then also, obviously, of course, there's so many Cosmos markets. I think DYDX is becoming really huge. I'm personally very bullish on DYDX and super excited about it. But we'll share more updates with it as we finish testing. There's a lot of kind of custom stuff we're doing for DYDX. Something we're pretty interested in and excited about. Maybe one last update before I stop is just on Slushy. I know they had their big airdrop. Maybe just give it a little bit of context we're thinking about there. You all might have seen there was a project called Milky Way that got announced that is planning on doing a Slushy LST. Maybe just a brief description of Milky Way and how Stride might compare and what our plan is for Slushia. So I'll start off. It is super early, and so we are not all, we're just kind of in the exploratory phase, especially given Slushia is like a new technology and it operates such like a different kind of pipeline. A lot of what we're working on is trying to see if learn what like the ideal goal is for Slushia on their LSTs. They're a very ideological project and they have a lot of really exciting technology. But I know they are really big on rollups. They potentially might want, for example, an LST to use the Slushia stack or to be optimized around the trust properties that they want to use. They generally, I think, are more ideological than most chains and have a much more bespoke setup. So right now we're in kind of a research phase. We're trying to figure out what might the ideal setup for Slushia be and what would be like the best design for them. Like what's the best trade-off of like trust and ease of use, maybe like using the Slushia stack, compatibility with other chains. I know there's some parts of the stack that might be seen, some parts that don't, some parts use Hyperlane. So we're just like scoping that all out and trying to figure out what the best ideal solution is for Slushia. I believe Milky Way's approach is slightly different in that they're launching with basically a multi-sig based approach on Slushia. Also a very reasonable approach, but we want to be more aligned, I think, with every chain that we go to. Like one thing we really pride ourselves at Stride is that we want to be net good for every chain that we enter into and want to deploy in a way that really aligns that chain's values and helps that chain grow in a healthy way. I want to make sure we do that in a really high quality way for Slushia. Still a little bit of context in this new approach there, and we'll keep you updated as that research continues because it's very early right now, and we'll see how it goes. That being said, maybe let's open up to questions, see if anyone has any questions. One thing I'll address in case we're in the comments. There's a Hydra LST coming to INJ. Yeah, I've seen that. Honestly, the more the merrier. Like, it's having more attention and education in the space and LSTs is always great. And I feel like we have obviously biased, but I think we have a really great product. And welcome any and all competition. And just honestly, it just brings more people into the space. And LST total penetration is so low that we're not really competing for like all the INJ that's out there. And so just more interest in DeFi is good. And maybe we'll make we'll find great features they have in their product. We can roll into our product, for example. We're still early, and I'm sure there's lots of ways to make Stride better that we can find out. Oh, one last update before I open it up. The Dust Sweeper on the Stride Dust Sweeper. This is truly almost done, and I promise I will keep giving you I'll keep talking about this every week until it's launched. We're in the very final phases. There's a thing called Cosmos Kit that helps integrate different wallets. Run into some small error there, and we're hoping to try to resolve that pretty soon. Basically, trying to like there's some like error cases basically if the tokens don't get swapped properly, and the current way the implementation is done like doesn't handle that really well. So we're in the final phases. We are trying to get that worked out. I promise you it is a top priority, and I will keep updating you on that. Cool. That being said, maybe anything else, Summer, or should we open up to questions?
Oh, no, I mean, yeah, we can definitely open up to questions. That you gave us so much to think about, which is super awesome. So thank you, Rochelle, for that like really exciting kind of overview, and also just like I guess there's a lot of different things you can be thinking about right now as far as like the what we with DYDX and Celestia especially. Like I don't know, I hadn't seen a lot about the Milky Way announcement, and so I feel like I was able to learn a lot from this, and it's cool. I appreciate you like sharing your kind of philosophy also of just bringing more into the ecosystem is always better, even if it means that there's like a bit of competition, you know what I mean? I think it's a cool thing to see from a person in a position of leadership, so I commend you for sharing that. But yeah, we should definitely open up to questions, anything on anybody's minds, or if you mentioned something in the chat that hadn't been addressed. I think it's not a lot of questions, just a lot of discussion, but feel free to drop any questions that you have that you think we could answer for you. But Moons did ask, have there been thoughts about better streamlining the onboarding process? Seems like there's a lot of effort onboarding new chains. I feel like it might hamper growth in the long run.
Yeah, this is a great question, Moons. So we have tried to bring the onboarding costs down quite a bit. Honestly, I think it's actually not that hard right now for most normal chains, with a few caveats there. So one caveat is chains that have really bespoke setups like DYDX or Celestia. They either don't have like IBC enabled in the standard way, or they want to have a deployment a different way, or they have real yield. That needs to be improved, and we are working on that. For standard, like a quote unquote standard chain, I think the total pipeline now, like when we run tests on our end, is like about a day or so, which has gotten much better. One thing that is really hard, and I think this is still something that we're still trying to figure out, is on the BD end of things. It does not scale very well, and so it takes us a long time to do the BD and strategic end of onboarding a new chain. So, for example, like figuring out how we're going to get liquidity for the SC token, making sure the token has like use cases that people want to trade it, and there's a little bit of like brand value here. For example, we launched kind of an LST, and it ends up being depegged by like 50%. It reflects poorly on Stride, even if it's nothing new at Stride. And so that's most of the question is we have like this ongoing business strategic effort, and we're not sure how to scale that better. And maybe there's other ways to do it that don't that give support to these communities, but don't necessarily like we don't have guarantees of like the liquidity or the use cases on them. We're not sure. It's something we're actively through. And then there's one more caveat. It is very hard right now to add a chain with the same denom as an existing chain. When we first making Stride, we thought this would never be an issue. And now there are two Lunas that want to add Stride support, which is kind of funny and not something we had really instituted before. That's something we should work on making easier, but has not been a huge priority so far. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. Maybe as a TLDR, I think we do want to make it easier to support even more bespoke chains, or having that make the code base more generic there. But a lot of the work right now in supporting more chains is strategic, and we're just not sure what the best way to scale that is. But our goal is just to scale it more, and we're just not sure what the best way to do that is. So people have ideas on how to scale the strategy side of things or the BD side of things more. We're all ears. Or if you all think it's not really an issue and there actually isn't that much, like the more the merrier, and we shouldn't do that much vetting of the tokens before we launch them. All will be reasonable outcomes, I think. Need to this question. Yeah, I thought this was a really good idea. We actually did make this pool at one point, and it did not really catch on. I'm not really sure why it didn't catch on. Maybe it was just like too early and people weren't really aware of it. I am still really bullish on this idea. I think like people should only use ST tokens. I think there was an ST Atom ST Osmo pool, but it only had like $1,000 of volume or liquidity. But this was like back in the first few months of Stride, so it's possible people just didn't see it. And so maybe we should try to do it again or see people interested in it again. Honestly, at least personally, I mostly only have ST tokens, and I only hold non-ST tokens for like gas. So I don't know if other people are in the same boat, but I'd be down for doing it. The Atom halvening, Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Just right. So there's a good question on the atoms happening. So I think it, in some sense, might be bad because their direct revenue goes down. But I actually, we talked about this quite a bit internally, and I think it actually is quite good for Stride and Atom. So the main reason is right now, if you just stake your atom, you get like a 20% yield, call it. As a result, I think people are less interested in chasing yield opportunities or using their tokens in DeFi. So if I already get like 20% yield by staking, and let's say I can get 25% somewhere else, I might just not care about that marginal 5% because 20 and 25 aren't that different, and I have to go using a different protocol and whatnot. But let's just say like Ethereum, for example, has like a 3% yield, and if there's a DeFi opportunity that gives me 8%, that's super attractive in comparison. And so a lot of people might want to go to that 8% opportunity. And so it's possible by lowering the atom inflation, we actually get more DeFi being used. And if it over doubles the amount of ST atom in circulation, then it would be good for Stride. And I think that it's very possible to get into that world. So TBD. But then I think one more thing is I think for our growth going forward, a big priority is to become less atom dependent too. So I think Stride has done a really good job with Atom, and it's a good part of our Stride brand, and I think it's made it much easier to onboard new SC tokens. But now I think we have a lot of room to make new SC tokens have more use cases and get more revenue from them. Yeah. I see Sneed this question. Can devs push other chains to make SC assets airdrop eligible? Yeah. I mean, I want them all to be airdrop eligible. Teams, if they reach out to us, we definitely help them. We do this in Neutron. We haven't had that much outreach, honestly. Maybe we should be doing more outbound ourselves. But like one thing, I think like with the Pit airdrop, for example, I think where airdrops are moving to be DeFi focused, and then I suspect SKM holders will be more eligible. Otherwise, we're very aligned giving airdrops to SKM holders. So we'll see. Like if maybe a little bit put it this way: if there are teams that you all know that are going to airdrop to Atom stakers, let us know as soon as possible, and we will reach out to them ASAP in order to include SKM into their holders. Yeah, and I do think it's exciting though that more people are airdropping to DeFi holders. I think that honestly makes way more sense for airdrops. Like most projects want to entice DeFi users to use their chains, and SD Atom is much more DeFi. Thank you, Moons. I appreciate it. Congrats to all of us. It was a good team effort. We're now at 45 million TVL, and just starting. We're just in the early phases. So maybe in a few weeks, hopefully we'll get to. I mean, fingers crossed we'll get to 50 soon. That's the really exciting one, I think. And we're close. We're close.
Yeah, we are. We're almost there. Like, yeah, thank you for celebrating us in the chat moons. It is always exciting to see the community tapped into really impressive metrics like this that are exciting for us to celebrate. What is the tokens breakdown? Um, nice. Is this the tokens breakdown of staked on Stride?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Osmo is up to 16%. It's exciting. And honestly, I think Osmo Ninja really can become much larger. Like they're really big tokens, have huge communities, people have a lot of interest on them. And I think one thing we've seen so far is there aren't that many DeFi opportunities, but it's changing a lot. Like there's more and more opportunities every day in Cosmos DeFi. And Levana is an obvious example. Would be super easy to. I can see that becoming much more active. So we'll see.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vishal, for leading us through a really interesting conversation about everything that's happening in the Stride world and all of the things that we have to look forward to as far as new opportunities with our ST tokens. But I think we can cap it here today. We're at 12:34. So yeah, if you have any like super last minute questions, feel free to ask them in the general chat. And either myself or a lifeguard will be able to communicate with you and chat with you a bit more about whatever's on your mind. But thanks you guys for being here today. And thank you, Vishal.
Thanks so much, everyone. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Summer, for always leading an incredibly positive and helpful discussion. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.